All right, so pretty much anyone who knows me knows that I got kind of some horrible crimes that have happened to my family, right? I can't take credit for them, but my grandfather did like the worst of the worst. And like, you can pretty much fill in the blanks. Let's just say they get treated worse than murderers in prison, okay? So, that being said, I have taken an interest in the topic, not the not the media, and I've somewhat become desensitized to it. So like, I've been coming up with these jokes because I see these ridiculous dudes, right? These liberal guys, and okay, this is coming from me. I'm liberal. There's guys on TV arguing about lowering the age of consent, right? And they're going to lower the age of consent. And the reasoning is, well, when I was a kid and I got molested, at like 5 years old, I kind of liked it. So like, well, who's to say he doesn't like it? It's not messing him up. It didn't mess me up. Yeah, it did mess you up. You're a pedophile now. It messed you up. But this dude's arguing this thing I saw. So anyway, the problem is, not all pedophiles are like ridiculously stupid. In fact, most of them like know how to use the internet better than any of us, right? They could probably be good IT guys, and they probably are, some of them. Who knows? Like, there's so many. But like they're thinking they're like getting into these positions of government now. So I see these dudes like they're trying to slip this stuff in. Like, normally when you tack a little fat on a bill, you're like just trying to drain money from the middle class and like hurt people that way. It's getting beyond that. So these dudes are like trying to like, like, we're going to make it illegal to dump oil in the ocean and throw plastic out there. You got to cut your 6-packs before you kill sea turtles. And by the way, the age of consent is no longer a thing. And they're like trying to tack it on, which blows my mind. But the funny thing is, I'm trying to write a punchline where it's not like, I'm not offended at that per se. Like, just, I want to be selfish about this, right? Because like, they're trying to argue that a 4-year-old can literally make that kind of a crazy decision and here's how we're easing into it, right? And all right, now I'm starting to get blocks, dislikes, like Facebook shut me down. But seriously, like, we're telling our kids, okay, your gender isn't a choice. You were just born with it, and you always know what you wanted, you always knew what you were. What are you? And they're just like looking around like Spider-Man. There's a Barbie down. They don't know what they are. So they're just like, I think I'm a girl. And half the time they're wrong. So like, you're asking this kid this thing he can't even comprehend. Yet these people are arguing, they can make this choice to like make a really, deep physical connection with somebody else, and which also involves emotional and psychological and spiritual attachments. So they're arguing, I was 5 and I got to do this thing. So I'm thinking, like, I always thought I was going to die young. I always thought I was going to be that guy that died young, and like everyone was going to, if anyone cared, they care when you're young. Like, because now that I'm after 40, like my funeral, like it's tapering off. Like, I'm going to have less and less and less people show up, right? But as a kid, this is the selfish narcissist in me. Dude, if I would have died as a kid, I would have had like a freaking stadium funeral. But now I'm like, I can't even book down at like Bernie's on High Street in Columbus. Like, my funeral is not gonna pan out the way I thought it might have been. And now they're taking that from me. They're taking away young. Like, you can't even die young. Like, for me to have died young, my mother probably would have had to have aborted me. Or just like, what if the coolest kids are the ones that are never born because their parents are they're practicing safe sex or abstinence. There's no fornicating, and the coolest kids are still in heaven. They never have to even get incarnated and come down here and face this crap. Wouldn't that be the ultimate joke? The ultimate joke is the good do die young. They're never born. Because, like, the responsible thing is to not make them, and certainly not diddle them. I mean, come on, and you're arguing for that? These guys are arguing for that. And that's, and that's basically why I think, God invented the San Andreas Fault.